What is going on, guys? Thundry here, back into another video. Today we are going to be building a budget PC which can be used for streaming and gaming. Before this video goes on, shout out to my friend Richard and Ivan for making this video possible. So our budget will be below 3000 ringgit Malaysia, and we will try to find parts that are cheap and efficient for our gaming / streaming PC. I will list out the price of the parts if you guys are interested. All of the parts were bought at Low Yet in Kuala Lumpur. Now remember, this PC will be mainly for gaming and streaming, so we will try not to exceed our budget. So the total cost of this PC and monitor will be 2788 ringgit Malaysia. First up, we have a GIGABYTE motherboard, which will be a very good motherboard for our Ryzen processor. Next, the processor will be AMD Ryzen 5 2600 with 6 core and 12 thread processor. Next, we'll be using Cooler Master as our power supply. We will be also having 8GB RAM, 120GB SSD and a 1TB of hard disk. Our Wi-Fi dongle will be using TP-Link. On top of that, we will be using GTX1660 as our graphic card. As for casing, we decided to buy a very affordable and a very good looking m-ATX case. So lastly, we found this darkFlash brand and it is very good looking. These are what the cables look like in the case. Screws, cable tie and a whitening cloth will be available inside the case. As for monitor, we went for ACER, a 24-inch monitor. Sadly, the monitor doesn't include a HDMI cable, so you will need to prepare the cable yourself as it only supplies a VGA cable. First, we will begin by installing the processor onto the motherboard. Next, we will need to remove the plastic from the motherboard in order for us to install the fan. Carefully place the fan on top of the motherboard and make sure the screws of the fan are properly inserted. After that, we will begin installing our 8GB RAM to our motherboard. Next step, we will be putting the metal grill at the back of the case. Align the motherboard properly and begin to screw it. Follow up, we will be installing our Cooler Master PSU. Moving on, it's time for us to install the GPU. You will need to check how much the GPU eats up the space, and you will need to push the metal thing out for you to insert the GPU. Next, just gently insert the GPU into the motherboard slot until you hear a tick sound and you are good to go. Once you are done doing that, just screw the GPU into the case. Next, we'll begin plugging the cables in and out. Now we're also going to be installing our solid state drive onto our PC. We are almost done here. Now we are going to install 3 of the Rgb fans, which include with the case onto our PC. Final step will be putting back the tempered glass back to our case, and we are ready for our first boot up. First boot up was a success. Everything runs fine, the RGB and the case looks pretty simple and nice, and it's considered a great success. Now we will begin installing Windows 10 on it. Moving on will be gaming. Most of the newer titles run fine in this PC. The default setting were all set to either high or ultra. So far every game I tested runs very smoothly.
Fire, friends.
プレイヤーとは戦闘になりそう。プレイヤーはエネミーに違って強敵だから気をつけてね。あんたの武器だから走りながら撃つのがおすすめかな。相手の弾が当たりづらくなるから走るってかなり重要よ。やるわね。
クレアヘイトが集まった手を貸してほしい。
その調子よ。
いいぞ。
Fine. Forthwith. So mote it be. Mine. Thither I go. With speed. For the pyro. Well, I will remember.
amazing. If only Dad could have seen this. Oh no, they're already here. Got to get inside.
The Order of Trinity pursued the Prophet and his people relentlessly until finally confronting them in their hidden oasis.
Damn it. Come on. There was a battle here. Armed soldiers against religious pilgrims. The Order of Trinity. Damn it. That was too close. They're blasting their way in. Let's hope this works.
In conclusion, this PC totally can game without any problem at all. Alright guys, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe for more. Comment down below if you have any question, and I will see you guys in the next one.